Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, this summer I went down to Costa Rica and adventured to volcanoes and relaxed on the beach, as you can see. And I hope you had a fun summer too, and I want to hear all about it. But for now, I'm excited to head back to class, aren't you? But since I flew down here, I think I'm going to take another way back. Well, come on, let's go. Whoa! Whew! Made it, and we're back. For those who are wondering why I look like this, the reason is because it's cool and I can. So, for those who don't know, I'm Mr. Potter and I'm going to be your music teacher this year. And for those that do know me, it is so good to see you again. We're going to talk about all the fun stuff we're going to do this year and how we're going to do it. But first, let me tell you a little bit about who I am, and then later, I want to hear more about you.
This is my wife. Isn't she pretty? I sure think so. And we got to go on vacation this year, and we had a whole lot of fun. We drove all over Costa Rica and got to see all sorts of cool things. Look how pretty the countryside is. This is Arenal, an active volcano. See the smoke coming out of the top of it? We got to ride four-wheelers. It was muddy. We had a really fun vacation. I hope that you had a good summer too. We also found out that we're going to have a baby, and we are really excited. And we pastored a church here in town called Nexus Community Church. And I'm teaching at two different schools, East Elementary and Coggin, and I love them both.
So that's a little bit more about me, and this year I want to learn more about you too, even though I'm going to have well over 500 students, which is a lot. And trying to do that will make my head feel like this. But that's okay, because you're worth it. So tell you what, let's look at some of the fun and exciting things we're going to do this year, and then afterwards we're going to talk about how we'll do that. All right, here we go. Wow, doesn't that look fun? I think it does, and I don't want to miss out on any of that. So let's talk about how we can make sure we get to every single one of those things and more. But first and foremost, my most important job this year is to make this a safe place to learn. And it's your job to help me. So anything you can do for you or your neighbor that will make it more safe or help you learn more, that's what you need to do. And I love music. I absolutely love it. And my goal is that you would feel the same way too. And part of the way to do that is to experience it in all those awesome and fun ways. But to be able to do all of those and make sure we don't miss out on any, we need to follow a few rules and a few procedures. They're not hard, but let's talk about them so that we can have the best music class ever. Here at East, we just have a few simple rules for music class, but really they apply anywhere you go. And if you don't know it already, you're going to learn a song that has all of them in there. And if you can't remember what they are, well, I won't look if you're peeking, but they're right there on the wall. But they're what? Rule number 1, respect each other. Rule number 2, respect property. Rule number 3, stay in your own space. Rule number 4, listen quietly. And rule number 5 is participate. And it's not hard, it's a piece of cake. See, you already got them, I bet. Now there are 2 big things that we're going to work on and practice this year, and if we can get these 2 things down, it will eliminate almost all the problems we have in music class. Do you want to know what they are? Well, the first thing is how we come to and how we leave class. That is huge. When we come in, we're going to be really loud and crazy and run and jump. Is that right? No. How are we going to come in? We're going to come in quietly and we're going to find your seats. And we'll talk about where those are later. And when we leave class, we're going to line up just the same way. Loud and crazy and... No. We're going to do it nice and calm and quiet and in your line order. One class will line up against that back wall back there so you can turn around and see it. And the other class will line up all across this wall with the windows. Okay? And we'll talk about where your class is going to go in just a second. The second thing is working on this, going from being quiet to being loud to being quiet again. That's one of the hardest things in music class because we'll sit and listen, and then we get up and we dance and we sing, and then we have to go back to sitting and listening to what's next. Okay, so we're going to work on that, and if we can get those 2 things down, then we really won't have any problems this year. Okay, let's talk about how we're going to handle instruments in class. As you can see, there's a bunch of them all around the classroom, and there's some that are even in the closet that you can't see right now or that I might bring in later. Okay, now playing instruments is one of the most fun parts about music class, but it's a privilege, not a right. Which means that if you can't handle it and do it the correct way, we can't do it. Because the instruments can get broken, or you can hurt each other, or it can just be really loud and distract not only our class, but other people all across the school. So we're going to talk about, when we pull out the instruments, how each one of them works, and how we play them, and how we respect them. Okay? But, are you supposed to go and grab and play them anytime that you want? No. So we will have plenty of time to get to them, trust me, but we have to wait and we have to do it the right way. The better we do it, the more we respect it, and the better we are with them, the more we'll get to use them. Well, let's talk about what happens if you don't follow the rules in music, which I know we're not going to have to worry about though, right? Well, in music we have 2 different kinds of tickets. We have a blue ticket, and those are if you're doing something exceptionally well. We're talking above and beyond, not just following the rules, but doing something even more than that. If you're doing something really great, you get a blue ticket. And if you get a blue ticket, what happens? When you go back to your class, you get to move your clip up. But if you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, I'll warn you, but after that, you'll get a red ticket. And guess what happens when you get a red ticket? You move your clip down. So, we have 2 different kinds. What kind of ticket do you want? One more thing. This is what our classroom is supposed to look like when you leave. See how straight all of the lines are and how none of the tape has been peeled up? I'm going to be very picky about that. I spent almost an entire day putting down that tape and marking it off so that we would have places to sit. So look down and see what color you're sitting behind, what number, where you are in the room, because that's going to be your seat. But please do not pull or play with the tape or try to pull it up, because that would make me very sad, and I would have to spend hours and hours again trying to redo it. And you don't want me to have to do that, do you? So if I see you trying to pull up the tape, that's going to be an automatic red ticket, okay? So please don't do that, and we won't have any problems. Thanks. Well, I'm sure there's more that we're going to talk about today, but that gives us a good start as to what music class is going to look like this year. And I don't know about you, but I am so excited, and I know that this year is going to be the best year ever in music, and I can't wait to spend it with you. So anything that you can do to help it be more safe, bad, they apply anywhere you go. You probably do things on the computer, and at the end, you're gonna bit.